Good morning once again, everybody. I'm Woody Smith. I was with you last week. For those of you who were able to be with us, we welcome all of you. And at this point, I'd like to say I've got several other people with me again here this morning. People you don't see because I'm the only one who's facing the camera at this point. But Stephen Ditto is over here, who is a wonderful help here for the technology aspect of this. He's also our international Student Recruitment Coordinator. I believe I got the title correct. Also here today with us are, sitting at my far right over here, is John Schmidt, Dr. John Schmidt, Academic Coordinator at TIEP. And he really will be handling the third webinar on January the 7th, I believe it is, where he will talk in depth about the academic part or the program itself, although he's here today in case there are any questions that do come up. Next to him, Victoria Wykoff, who is Student Services Administrator, and she can address any specific topics that you may have or questions that you may have about health insurance or any type of official governmental documentation or documents. And then we have Kristen Wykoff, sorry, we have Kristen Carson sitting right here. And she's from a company called Simply International. And quote me or correct me if I'm wrong here. Basically, I've said it's a company that specializes in hospitality arrangements for international students. She has been helping us with a number of programs. Specifically today, she can address the issue of dormitory, the living accommodations, and how you will get checked in. So we have a good group here today. Again, I welcome all of you. Again, I'm Woody Smith, the Associate Director of the Texas Intensive English Program. As I mentioned, this is the second webinar. If you have not had a chance to look at the first one, we encourage you to do so. The link was sent out to everybody. You should have that. If you don't, just let us know. We can resend that. And then, Stephen, will the link for this one be out later today or later today? Yeah, so the link for this one will be out later today in case you would like to listen to it again, or if you have colleagues who are not able to be here at this time, they will be able to listen to it. There's topics for today that we have here are, we'll go back over a little bit about what type of clothing to bring for packing purposes, what to bring, what not to bring, arrival in the United States, arrival here in Austin, transportation to the dormitory, information about the dormitory and check-in and information, more information here. I did get an email this morning from one of the participants whose airplane ticket indicated that she was flying into Austin Robert Miller Airport. Well, there was at one time Austin Miller, and this is really for everybody's information in case your tickets happen to say this. That was the old airport here in Austin, and it closed and moved well over 10 years ago, and it was Robert Miller Airport. It was at least 15 years ago. So why the ticket now would say that, I don't know. So I would suggest just contacting your travel agent or the airlines just for clarification. There is just one airport here, which is Austin Bergstrom International Airport. So no matter if your ticket says Robert Miller, that right now has been completely redeveloped into a residential area. You will not be flying in there. You will fly into Austin Bergstrom International Airport. If you have any questions during the webinar, please go ahead, type them in. What we will do is towards the end of the seminar, I'll begin looking through the questions and we'll address the questions at that time. I'll read the questions so that everybody knows what the questions are, and then we'll respond to them. I'll also ask my colleagues at any time to just chime in if you have any additional information about what I'm going to be saying here. Well, I know during the first seminar we mentioned and talked a little bit about clothing to bring here. You'll be here in Austin in January. The weather in January here in Central Texas is not as cold as it is in many parts of the United States, but nevertheless, it can be cold here, especially if you're coming from a very tropical, warm climate or an area in Brazil where it stays warm most of the time. For example, just a couple of days ago, during the daytime, it was about 20 to 25 degrees Celsius. This morning at my house, it was 0 and Celsius. And again, this can happen in any given day, the same that range of temperature. What is strange is that it can be in reverse. It can be warm in the morning, and with the geographical location of Central Texas, with nothing between us and basically the North Pole as far as mountains are concerned, cold air in winter actually does come down very, very quickly. And so even during the daytime, it can actually continue to get colder than what it is in the morning. It's unpredictable. It changes quickly. So what we suggested in the previous webinar is to bring warm clothing, but clothing that you can layer. Of course, shirts and blouses, and then light sweaters, and then jackets, so that if you need to take something off, you can, but yet you will still be warm enough or cool enough and have the flexibility. This also goes for being inside buildings. Sometimes our buildings may, I don't know, depending on what you're used to, they could seem warm to you, they could seem cold to you. Our facility is located in a building that is not the newest, but it's a nice building, a wonderful building, but yet sometimes there's a little bit of an issue with heating equally being distributed throughout the building. So again, bring clothing that you can layer. Like I said, shirt, blouse, sweater, jacket. As far as rain, it is possible. Predictions this year are that we will continue to get rain during the winter season. It is possible that there could be some light snow, some light icing. It does not happen very often, but again, be prepared. Bring an umbrella if you can, or some type of raincoat that has a hood on, just in case that there is inclement weather. What about things that you should maybe bring in your carry-on luggage? Because those are things that you will probably need immediately upon arrival. Well, I would also say what we were just talking about, bring some type of warm clothing in case when you land here in Austin, it is the 0 degrees, you'll be ready and not have to go through your luggage and try and find a heavy coat or a jacket or a sweater or something. Or if it's raining, you'll have your umbrella handy. I would also suggest that you take with your hand luggage any official documents that you have. Of course, your passport, you'll need that when you go through customs, your DS 2019s, health insurance information, and any other type of official documentation that you may have. Also, where you will be staying, addresses, and then we'll address that a little bit later when we talk about the dormitory, the addresses of the dormitory, so that you will be able to say where it is that you're going to stay while you're here in Austin for the 2 weeks. You might also pack photocopies of these documents or screenshots, and I see a hand going up over here from Victoria. Victoria.
Yes, on the topic of your DS 2019, you must have your original DS 2019. It's fine to bring a copy as well as your original, but please make sure you have the original with you when you're at the Customs and Border Patrol area with your passport. If you have only a copy with you, you will be delayed at the border and could possibly be denied entry.
So in case you didn't hear that, I'll restate that Victoria stressed the importance of bringing the original DS 2019 with you. You can bring copies also just in case something happens during the time that you're here. If it gets lost, you have a copy of it, but you will need the original at your point of entry here in the United States. And it is something I wanted to address in a few minutes, that you will be landing more than likely in some location other than Austin to begin with. And so it's important to remember that you're going through customs and then boarding a plane again on your way further here to Austin. Additional carry-on items, of course, include any prescription medications that you have, glasses, eyeglasses for reading purposes, any type of valuables, electronics, anything that I guess is breakable that you should pack in your carry-on. But at the same time, I want to emphasize the fact that you need to check with your airlines as far as size of luggage, dimensions, weight, what is allowed. If you're changing carriers, different airlines in the United States You really should check the domestic airlines carrier also for any regulations that they may have. There's also limits as to the size of liquids, the amount of liquid that you can bring in, carry on. So again, check very carefully on websites for the airlines to get information about that. As I, bring some type of clothing that will keep you warm in case it is cold when you land here in Austin. I would also suggest maybe bringing one change of clothing just in case your luggage happens to be misdirected, otherwise lost, and then not found for a day or two. We hope that doesn't happen, but with flights and with changing air flights, it is possible. So I would suggest bringing one change of clothes with you so that you will have something with you in case you have to wait a while for your main luggage to arrive. One other thing you might bring with you, this is not necessarily in your carry-on, this goes back to what we talked about last time, was that you will have a host dinner opportunity, a chance to meet a host family here for dinner in the Austin area. It will not be an overnight, it will just be a dinner hosting. You might have some small souvenir or token item, from Brazil that would be indicative of your area. That would be a good small gift to give to your host during the dinner. I mentioned electronics here, and this is something that is optional as far as bringing computers. If you do have laptops and need to bring them, that's absolutely fine. Just as a word of caution, if you are thinking about shopping for any type of electronics here in Austin, that's fine, but there will not be a lot of time, especially at the outset of the program, to go looking for electronics. A lot of the stores that are good as far as prices are not centrally located where you will be, and you'll have to make a little bit of a trip to get to those places. So, but feel free to bring, cell phones, electronics of any sorts, cameras, tablets, if you want. But I do want to stress that you need to check with the type of converter or adapter if you need to bring those with you. The voltage here in the U.S. is probably not what you have in Brazil. Suggest, again, that you go online, you Google it, and I'm not sure, Kristen, do you have any specific information about?
No, I do not, but the link that I think I sent to you about what to bring, I think has a converter information. So.
Okay, and is that something that you can send out?
Yeah, I can definitely send that out.
Okay, Kristen here can send out some information that they use in their company, and she believes that there's information there about what type of converters, adapters, and so forth would be needed for electronic equipment here in the United States if you would need to bring that. You can purchase those here, but again, it might not be the easiest to do at the very outset of the program. So again, we can address this as we continue before your arrival here. We know that you're coming from many different binational centers in Brazil and that you probably do not know each other, but it is a possibility that you may be on the same flights. So, you might try and think of a way, and maybe you can be in contact with people from other BCs in Brazil to, I hate saying label yourself, but be able to have yourself easily identified as a participant in case you happen to be on flights with some other participants. That way you would be able to meet them and share experiences before you get here to Austin. Just a suggestion. Again, arrival in the United States. You'll be flying into a gateway city. John, I assume coming from Brazil, in your experience, Miami is one, possibly. Houston's another. Orlando.
Dallas.
Miami.
A few came through New York last year.
New York, Dallas, Fort Worth, So it's possible that, that you'll be coming in through one of those gateway cities, and that's where you will actually go through customs. And that's where you'll have to have all the official documentation with you to go through customs. You will also have to pick your luggage up and take your luggage through customs. And then when you get through customs, that's when you will actually relinquish your luggage once again onto Austin. Your luggage that you have checked may actually be tagged Austin. Just make sure that it is, and that when you get through customs that it gets checked in, so that luggage then will get sent on to the appropriate flight, and like I said earlier, hopefully arrive with you at the same time.
One thing that
Yeah.
might be helpful is if you have a long layover, you can purchase a day pass to an airline lounge. For instance, in Houston, the predominant airline is United Airlines. In Atlanta, it's Delta Airlines. And for $50 per day, you can walk into an airline lounge, you can take a shower, you can have food to eat. So if you have a 4, 5, 6 hour layover, instead of just sitting in the terminal, you can buy that pass, and it might help you just to rest and to sleep a little bit and to feel, clean and refreshed after your flight.
That's a good suggestion, because it is a long flight, for you from Brazil to the United States, no matter where it is that you arrive in the United States. Stephen, where would they go in the airport to get that to the?
And so in each terminal in the airport, they have an airline lounge. So after customs, after you go back through security, just simply ask where is the closest airline lounge, and somebody will be able to help you find that.
Okay, so yes, that's a good suggestion there. Asking for where the closest airline lounge is if you have a several hour layover in whatever city it is that you get to. Good suggestion there. All right, so you're on your way now to Austin. You're flying into Austin. Yes, as I said earlier, you will be flying into Austin Bergstrom International Airport. It is relatively close to the center of town, and when you get to Austin, the airport is not extremely large. It is getting bigger and busier as we speak, but relatively speaking, it's still a very manageable airport. You arrive on I'm going to call the second level. What you will do is to take the escalator or elevator, whichever you want, or steps, I think you still do, down to the first level, which is where the baggage claim area is. And there are several carousels. Those are the areas where the luggage will come in, the checked luggage will come in, and you'll just check the screens at the carousels to see which carousel your luggage should be arriving. You wait for your luggage, you pick your luggage up, and I will say at this time, both in the gateway city and in Austin, check your luggage very carefully. If there is any damage, and you see it at the gateway city, you need to report it there. If there is damage, or if the luggage does not arrive, you need to report that also at the gateway city and here in Austin at that time. Very often, if you leave the airport, the airlines will not honor any type of complaint, especially if you notice the bags have been damaged. Of course, if they're lost, you're going to have to report that immediately. But look very carefully at your luggage. They do get handled a little roughly, as during flights, transfers. So just look very, very carefully. There will be an airline's office where you can make a complaint by it close to the baggage terminal. Victoria.
And make sure all locks are TSA approved locks. If not, the
Could you explain that a little bit more?
Sure. So if you plan to lock your luggage, read your luggage lock carefully and make sure it is a TSA approved lock. TSA is the security body in the United States that keeps us safe when we fly. They have very specific requirements for luggage locks. If your lock on your suitcase does not meet their requirements, they will cut it off.
So in other words, the officials can open any piece of luggage at any given time. And if there's a lock on it that cannot be opened by them other than by simply cutting the lock or doing something else, they will do that. If you have any questions, look very carefully on the website for TSA approved locks. Again, this applies for any type of domestic or any type of flights within the United States, being in the United States, and entering the United States also. Any other suggestions on the travel, on luggage, suitcases, locks?
Just same day reporting.
Same day reporting, once again, if there's a problem at the airport. And if your luggage does not make it, again, to the Austin airport, let's say, that's when you will talk to an airlines official there. You will give them the address where you're staying, a description of the luggage. And actually, it might not be a bad idea to take a picture of your luggage so you can actually show them. John?
We'll know the contents.
And also know the contents that you have in there, so you can describe very carefully. Also show a picture, and then with the address, they will then make arrangements to get the luggage sent to the dormitory as soon as the luggage arrives in Austin, usually within the same day. Victoria?
And one last note on if you're coming through a gateway city and not directly to Austin, which I assume most people are, make sure that you also have with your passport and your DS 2019 proof of onward travel to Austin. You may be asked to demonstrate that you actually do intend to travel to Austin, Texas, where you are participating in the program.
Sometimes so proof of onward travel would be a ticket or
a ticket, a screenshot of your flight confirmation, just anything that can prove that you actually have made arrangements to travel to Texas and participate in your program.
Okay, Steven, did you have something? No. Okay. Well, you've made it to Austin. Your luggage hopefully is there. You're ready to make it to the dormitory. Well, we've got two options that we're going to suggest to you for transportation from the Austin airport to the dormitory. One is something called Super Shuttle. You can actually look this up online, Super Shuttle, and find the Austin location. That is a company that has van service from the airport to locations throughout the Austin area. There are two ways that you can handle that. You can go online while you're in Brazil and make a reservation for Super Shuttle. They'll ask you for your name, arrival information, and payment. So you can go ahead and do that. Well, if you do that, of course, any way that you're getting from the airport to the dormitory, whatever you pay, make sure you get a receipt for and submit that so that we can reimburse you. If several of you are coming in together and you know that, you can make arrangements in advance with Super Shuttle. And Super Shuttle is conveniently located. You pick up your luggage, as I said, on the lower level at the airport, and you go past carousel number 1, and you head almost towards the end of that level, and Super Shuttle desk is right there, big sign. And they will handle the reservation that you've made, or will get you boarded into a van. If you don't make reservations in advance, that's okay. You go to the Super Shuttle counter, talk to them, and they will make the reservations then. You may have to wait a little while, but nevertheless, you can still go. The Super Shuttle vans, I believe all of them now seat 10 people, so you may be in with other people going to other destinations in Austin, but you'd still would pay in advance. Normally there's tipping. I'm not sure, is that paid? Tip when you purchase it, or
usually built in?
You can pay when you
You
purchase
get a
the ticket, or
choice.
you can tip in cash.
You
tip the
get a
driver
choice,
in cash?
yeah.
Okay. What's the normal, 10% now for that, or is it more?
Well, online, I think it starts at
15 goes up. Right, so it's one thing, for Super Shuttle and also for taxis, the tipping is normal here. I'm hearing here that it's about 15% right now.
$2.
A couple of dollars or whatever.
Just to confirm, they're reimbursed.
Correct.
For their transportation, whether they take Super Shuttle or they take a taxi.
Correct.
Right?
Correct.
And a taxi is around $50. Is that fair? 40?
No, it's about
lower.
about 35.
35, so yeah.
I would highly recommend, and Woody and the other folks here can say something on this, but to take a taxi rather than to take the super shuttle. The super shuttle has other people in it who they would have to drop off either after you or before you, and after a 15-hour flight, 20 hours of travel, 24 hours of travel, it might make sense simply to go find a taxi and to go straight to.
Actually, I found Super Shuttle more reliable than the drivers, more reliable than taxi drivers.
Yeah, I prefer Super Shuttle.
It's hit and
I
miss.
think this is one of those six, one half dozen or the other.
Yeah.
It depends on the experiences you've had with Super Shuttle and the experiences you've had with
So
taxis.
reliable.
I say if 3 or 4 of you come in together, a taxi, depending on the amount of luggage you have, you share that, that's not that expensive. If you would prefer Super Shuttle vans, it's up to you.
Quite a few of the Super Shuttle drivers are from Brazil, actually.
For a long time here, a lot of the Super Shuttle drivers were Brazilians, actually. Now, I think that may have changed right now. But again, it's six, one half dozen or the other. Either way, you will be reimbursed. So make sure that you get a receipt. If it's a taxi, make sure you get a receipt. If it's Super Shuttle, they should give you a receipt automatically. And if you pay for Super Shuttle in advance, I'm sure it will say there, place for a tip. You just have that. If it's a taxi and you just give a tip, I'm sure when they give you the receipt, there's a place on there where you can indicate the amount that you've given. But again, be sure to keep this. If you come, several of you together, it would be good if one of you would pay so that the accounting department here doesn't have 25 different payments to issue back, if that is at all possible, if several of you are coming in at the same time. Again, Victoria.
Oh, so we also wanted to know, Uber is available in Austin. If any of you are avid Uber users, or Lyft, Uber and Lyft are also transportation options in Austin.
At the airport too, right?
At the airport as well, yeah.
So Uber and Lyft both exist here. So if you have experience and knowledge and like either of those, another option right there. In good traffic from the airport to the dorm, 25 minutes probably. In not so good traffic, longer, depending. Depends on the time of day that you come in. Also depends on weather conditions and a few other things. But again, the airport is close into the central part of Austin, so it's not a long trip. Well, at this point, then you wind up getting to the dormitory, and I'm going to let Kristen take over at this point, and I'm going to have her come sit in my spot so she can talk to you about the dormitory. And let me check one thing. Okay.
Hello, my name is Kristen, and like Woody so kindly introduced me, I work with Simply International. We help to arrange a lot of the housing and some of the logistics of your arrival in Austin. You guys will be staying at one of my favorite dorms called the University Towers. It is located at 801 West 24th Street. So that's 801 West 24th Street, Austin, Texas 78705. The dorm is in the middle of West Campus, which is also where your classes will be. West Campus is an area in Austin that is directly west of the University of Texas. 99% of the people that live in this area are students, and it's pretty densely populated. So I feel pretty safe in this area. I will walk around at night. Victoria lives here, and she walks around. She'll walk her dog at night alone. Still you want to be smart, but I consider West Campus to be a pretty safe area. The dorm that you'll be living in has you guys will each be living in 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom apartments. So you'll have a living room, a kitchen, and 2 bedrooms. In addition to that apartment, you will have access to a cafeteria, so you'll be able to cook yourself, but you'll also be able to go to the cafeteria. It's unlimited entry, so as long as it's between the hours of when the cafeteria is open, you will be able to go in and out to get meals whenever you like. The dorm also has security guard, a security desk that you must go through every time you go up to your room. There's also a gym and a pool. They have this really great roof deck area to hang out in as well. So in case it is nice weather when you arrive, you might consider bringing a bathing suit because the pool is a really great place to hang out in. I believe that Woody has asked for roommate assignments in case you have any requests for roommates. Please do get that to us as soon as possible. If you don't have any requests or you have not met other people in the program, it's not a problem. We will assign you guys, but we want to make sure that you can get have a chance to get your requests in first.
Yeah, we have received a few requests already. We haven't passed those on, I don't think, to you, but we will.
Oh, that's great. Perfect. If you have any questions about your arrival or about your stay, I will send an email with both my email address and my phone number. I'll also send my Facebook links just because I assume that you may not have cell phone signal when you're here, but you will have access to internet. So it might be easier to use Facebook Messenger, specifically when you are at the airport. We will make sure that you are able to check in regardless of what time you arrive. So even if your flight's delayed, we will have someone at the dorm to give you your keys to your room. So don't worry. But if your flight is delayed, it will be important for me to, in order to make sure that we have someone at the dorm, please send us a message via email or something so that we can track when you are likely to arrive.
Did you give the address of the dorm? You did?
Yes, but just in case, it's 801 West 24th Street, Austin, Texas 78705. We'll send that out as well.
Okay. And maybe some information, you know, when they get out of a taxi or a cab or a super shuttle van, what do they do? How do they get into the building? Because it is a tall building.
Yeah, so the dorm has, I think, 800 people that can live there. So it's quite a big space, and it's very tall. And there are several towers, which is why it's called the University Towers. You will likely be dropped off on 23rd Street, and there will be a big sign and an entrance to the dorm. Right as soon as you walk into the dorm, we'll be at either the front desk or at a side desk with your check-in information. And there should be, I'll send you the internet for University Towers, so if you do arrive and you don't know where to go, you can log into their internet and message me. Again, email is great, but I'll send my Facebook so that you can message me via Messenger, which will be a little bit faster.
I have a question. Yeah. What if people arrive early and they want to check in early? Is that an option?
Yes.
Do you have anywhere that you would recommend for
Yes,
your arrival accommodation?
people can check in early. If you are arriving to Austin a few days early, you're welcome to stay at the dorm. There is a charge of $36 per night. That includes food if the cafeteria is open. So that is definitely an option for you guys to come in a couple days earlier if you'd like.
But again, you need to have that information in advance
Yes.
so that you can make appropriate reservations.
Yeah, if we can have that about a week in advance, yeah, would be fine. That'd be really important. We have an online booking platform so that you can go ahead and pay for it prior to your arrival. And again, it'll be important for us to have your flight information so that we know when to meet you to make sure that you're able to check in and get into your room. In your room, we will have linens for you. So you'll have the flat sheet, fitted sheets, a duvet, blanket, pillowcase. We'll have towels for you as well, shower curtains, and then like a lamp and a picture of Austin to make it seem a little bit more like a hotel. You might want to bring an extra pillow. There's only one, so if you like to sleep with a few pillows, you might want to bring an extra one. You might consider bringing, you should bring soaps and shampoos because that is not typically provided. Do we have any other questions?
Maybe shopping right nearby the dormitory. Groceries.
Yes, there is grocery shopping near the dormitory. And there are convenience stores in case you need to get things like soap or shampoo if you forget it. For groceries, like if you're getting food, I'll send out, we have a pre-arrival packet and a post-arrival packet that you'll get when you check in that includes information about the nearest convenience stores, the nearest grocery stores, and where I like to shop when I go to get groceries. Also, I'll give you a list of my favorite restaurants, and you can decide whether or not you want to go there, but we'll definitely give you a list of all of my recommendations for us.
But once again, meals are included, right?
Meals
During
are
the program.
included during the program.
So it's really up to the individual participants if they would like to prepare something on their own or go out and eat and experience different cuisines here in Austin.
Yeah, that's great.
Okay, so we'll switch back here for a second.
And
Yeah,
on that note with shampoo, if you're flying to the U.S. for the first time and you're on a U.S. airline, which most of you all likely will be, you will be experiencing security checks at the gate most likely. They will be going through your luggage if you decide to bring it on the airplane versus checking it. And on that note, if you have liquids such as shampoo, which are in excess of 3.5 ounces, which is 100 milliliters, they will take that. So do not bring large shampoos. Do not bring,
Colognes, large cologne.
gels,
Cologne,
and things
face
like
cream.
that are liquid, and that are more than 100 milliliters, or else they will likely be taken. The airline will have its own security likely at the gate. This happens on lots of flights that are on U.S. airlines, and if you have never flown on a U.S. airline, then it will likely be something new.
Right. And as you are at your gateway city and you've gone through customs, I guess they will still have to go back through a checkpoint again when you get onto your connecting flight. The lines can be somewhat long. So again,
You will have to take off your shoes, for instance, which you might not have to do
right.
in Brazil.
So again, that's why I say check very carefully airline regulations. If you are flying different airlines, check both to see, but yet I guess it's across the board for the liquid measurements, right? Just across the board for all there. So again, just be cautious if you're packing bigger bottles of shampoo or anything liquid, just put that then into your check-in luggage.
In the airport, if you buy a large water, even inside of the terminal, prior to getting on your U.S. flight, although you're still in Brazil, they will likely search your bag and they will likely take it from you.
Okay. I guess one thing back to the dorm for just a few seconds here. Location, it's very conveniently located to the school here. So that is one good thing, that it's at most a 5-minute walk. And then the other direction, it's about a 7 or 8 minute walk to the University of Texas. So you're in a very, very good location and access to a lot of activities here within the central part of town. Stephen, I'll ask you to help me out here. If we see we have any questions, what I did last time, I'm going to start pulling them up. Okay. Where it says questions, that makes sense.
Is there a safe in the bedroom? That's one question.
Okay, I can scroll down here. Thanks. Yeah, and then I'll let Kristen answer. Is there a safe in the bedroom?
There is not, and you might consider bringing your valuables or your passport, putting it in a safe place, either in your backpack with you or in a suitcase, because there may be maid service that may walk through once a week or something, so it's possible that the dorm may have the maids go in. They're very, we wouldn't expect them to take anything, but it's very, for very valuable things like your passport, it's just smart to keep it in a safe place.
Even safe place in a locked place.
Yeah.
Any other suggestions here about valuables?
Locked suitcase.
Locked suitcase.
Bag.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so, and I'm not sure that the dorm itself doesn't have any type of safekeeping, general
It
safekeeping.
does not really, no.
Okay.
There will be a lock for your room, as well as your bedroom. So you will be able to lock up your belongings in your bedroom and in your apartment.
Okay. Another question here is what time are we supposed to leave the dorm on the 30th? I guess that's the day of departure.
Yeah.
Is there a checkout time and kick out
There's
time?
not really a time that will kick you out.
Flexibility there.
They're pretty flexible.
Yeah, no specific time that you have to leave. If you're flying, of course, we'll give you suggestions about the time you should leave so that you can be at the airport in plenty of time to get checked in and to go through any type of screening or security that you would have to go through. How late can I get there on the 17th? That's another question.
Yeah,
Kristen.
so we will be there to meet you regardless of what time you arrive. But if it's the same price to get an airline ticket that arrives at 3 p.m. versus midnight, it'd be nice if you arrived at 3 p.m. because otherwise I'll be there at midnight
So Kristen
meeting you.
and her group at Simply International will be there to help you to facilitate check-in, whenever you do arrive. But we do ask, send us the information, the arrival information, so that we can have them, that they can go ahead and sort of plot out their schedule and they know when they're supposed to be there. We also understand that there may be misconnections, there may be delays. If that's the case, just try and let us know. We understand things like that do happen, and we've all experienced that. So if it does, don't worry about that. Just try and let us know if you can. Okay, all right. Seems like that and I don't see any other questions right now. If I've missed anything, please feel free to email me, Woody Smith. You can do woody.smith, WODY.Smith, SMITH, at TIEC.com.
.org.
What did I say? .com? Oh, how about .org? Sorry about that. It's Friday. That's why I have other people here with me to correct me. So it's .org, O-R-G. The third webinar, as we said, is going to be on Thursday, January 7th, the same time as this one and as the previous one. And during the third one, John, who is here today, will talk more in depth about the actual program, the activities, the course that you will be taking while you're here, the educational visits, and the type of presentations that you will be expected to give during the second week of your program. In the meantime, though, if you have any specific questions, please, again, feel free to direct them either to me or to Terry Simon. I think we've both been trying to answer. If I've missed any, I will go back and double check any emails to make sure. I've been out of the office several days myself to make sure that I have responded to everything that has come in. I think at this point, to double check it once again, that seems to be it as far as that I see, as far as the questions that have come in. We appreciate your being here. As we said a little later today, we will send out the link to everybody so that you can upload this if you need to listen to it again. And for the participants who were not able to take part in the webinar today. Once again, from all of us here in Austin, it's sunny. It was actually chilly this morning. It's going to be a nicer afternoon. We look forward to seeing you in mid-January. Have a safe trip, and we will talk to you soon.